Hi guys, so let's start with the Hindu newspaper, and today is 22nd June. So we'll take a brief look of all the newspaper items, all the important articles. The first on the first page, the Supreme Court seeks government decisions on ex gratia payment. So, like Supreme Court has asked the government of India whether it is going to give the ex gratia payment to the of families of the people who had died during the COVID-19 pandemic, right? So the bench has asked whether the government, by maintaining that COVID-19 was not a one-time disaster, basically there was a petitioner who has asked the government to pay for the victims, pay to the families of the victims who died during the COVID-19 of 4 lakhs of compensation under the Section 12 of the Disaster Management Act. The Section 12 of the Disaster Management Act talks about making payment to the making relief payment to the after in case of disaster. Like Section 12 says that the national authority shall recommend guidelines for the minimum standard for relief to be provided to persons affected by disaster, and it shall include the minimum requirements to provide the relief camps in relation to shelter, food, drinking, water, medicine, cover and sanitation, and special provisions to be made for the widows and orphans, ex gratia assistance on account of loss of life, as also assistance on account of damage to the houses and for restoration of means of livelihood and such other relief. So Section 12 clause 3 talks about making the ex gratia payment, and government has also came up with a notification in 2015 which stated that the in case of disaster the families will be paid 4 lakhs of compensation, with reference to Section 12 of the Disaster Management Act. So taking this 2015 notification as the base, the petitioner has filed a case in the Supreme Court and asking for this compensation of 4 lakh rupees. So in response to this petition, the central government has said that government has funds, but right now the focus is on using the funds for the food and medical care purpose rather than giving it as a ex gratia. So this is a brief news about this. The next news is record 82 lakhs shots were given in a day. So there has been a record like 82 lakh vaccination has been done on 21st of June. So it was due to the revised policy of central government, revised vaccine acquisition policy of central government. So as per the new vaccine policy says that the center will buy 75% of the doses from vaccine makers and give it to the state governments for free to as a free to like vaccinate the all adults. Before this policy was implemented, the free doses were provided by center only for the elderly and frontline workers. So after this change in the policy, there has been significant increase in the vaccination coverage all over country. Now next news is there is an optional exam between August 15 and September 15. It says the CBSE. Like you must be knowing that CBSE has said that there will be no exam for 12th board. So they based on certain criteria they will compute the marks of the students. However, those students who are not happy with their marks can appear for an optional examination which will be conducted between between August 15 and September 15. So this is a news, and the next news, let's move on to the next news, which says that fire guts. This is a news with respect to Delhi. The fire guts show go down. Like there is a shoe go down in Udyog Vihar, and in this the fire break out and 4 workers are missing. And this is a funny news. Constable breaks arms of minor for not wearing mask. So this can also happen in Delhi. Like Delhi police has broken the arms of minor for not wearing mask. So be careful, guys. And there was also on the 21st June International Yoga Day, and you can see the President of India Ramnath Kovind doing yoga. And there is another news: UAPA being misused to silence voices against injustice. There is a protester named Asif Iqbal Tanha, and he was arrested by imposing UAPA. And he there is an interview of this person, and actually this protester is leading a protest, was one of the main leaders of protest against Citizenship Amendment Act and NPR and NRC. So there is an interview, you can read this. And there is on another page, 45 to 60 age group residents have got the most number of doses. This is obvious, as the central government was also supporting the elderly age population by giving the free medicines earlier. So now 45 to 60, like this is a report says that 45 to 60 age group has got maximum number of votes. Then another news: Sisodia attacks central government's may stop inoculative drive. Like Delhi, as per this Manish Sisodia says that Delhi, in spite of this new vaccination policy, Delhi will still remain. Delhi will still face the shortage of vaccines. Like Delhi needs 2.3 crore doses of vaccination of vaccine to vaccinate the entire capital. However, under the free vaccination drive, the center will provide only 15 lakh doses in July. So this is a kind of complaint by Manish Sisodia, the deputy CM of Delhi. Capital records lowest daily COVID-19 cases in over a year. So this is another good news, that Delhi has reported very low cases of corona. The government schools not opening anymore anytime soon. This is another news. So government schools are not going to open. And AAP CM candidate for Punjab will be from Sikh community. Aam Aadmi Party is preparing for this election in Punjab, and this is news with respect to that. Man gives 2 vaccine doses within minute. This is another funny news, that a person was given 2 vaccines within a minute, and the miracle is that that person has not reported anything unpleasant as of now. This is an incident of Odisha. There is another news that Delta strain, Delta strain of corona is predominant in Chandigarh, and 60. Let's use this opportunity to read about this Delta strain, right? So Delta strain is, one second. So this Delta strain, so Delta variant is also known as B1.617.2, and the first identified in India. It is more contagious and resistant to vaccines than the dominant Alpha UK. So there are various variants. You must be knowing that corona is changing its forms on a very continuous basis. That is why that is why world is facing such a challenge, as corona is mutating very fast. So there is the variant of Delta variant is there. This is an Indian variant, kind of. It was first identified in India, and it is more contagious and resistant to vaccine than the dominant Alpha vaccine. Alpha Delta, that is Alpha variant, which was found in UK, which is circulating in US, and also carries a greater risk of greater risk of spread. So Delta variant and Alpha variant. Alpha variant was found in UK, and Delta variant was found in India. The next news is Indira Gandhi Canal repair accomplished in record time. So Indira Gandhi Canal, you must be knowing that Indira Gandhi Canal is there in Rajasthan, and it is the country's largest canal, which terminates in the region, terminates in irrigation facilities in Thar Desert. So this is the lifeline of Thar Desert region. So it was being repaired recently. BT cotton, the next news: BT cotton adoption showed benefits. As per a study, there has been a reduction in insecticide use, and its impact on human health is also reduced. Like there is a report, and which studies the effect of BT cotton in the Rajasthan region. And as this report says that after the adoption of this BT cotton practice in Punjab, in the North India, has said that Punjab in the past over a decade has resulted in net economic and environmental benefit. So there has been only benefit of this BT cotton practice. So BT, you must be knowing that BT's full form is Bacillus thuringiensis. BT cotton, that this Bacillus thuringiensis cotton has been commercially grown in India for the past 19 years. In Punjab, BT cotton was released for cultivation in 2005. So BT cotton is being being the practice of BT cotton growing is being practiced since last 19 years, and Punjab has shown the positive effect. Now this is a news that after barricade, shoppers, tourists hit the road. Now everything is coming in a normal mode. There is a mystery show. This is also not relevant. This is crime related news. Then next, Maharashtra adds 6,270 new cases. So this is also a good news that there is a reduced cases of COVID-19 in Maharashtra. Central leadership will decide next CM in Uttar Pradesh. Yeah, like in UP, there is elections are coming in UP. So there is a talks of who will be the CM in Uttar Pradesh. Of course, Yogi Adityanath is there, but still. So let's see who is being nominated as next CM of Uttar Pradesh. Now this is editorial newspaper. We will not explain this as there are so many good content available on YouTube with respect to this editorial analysis. We just read the heading. The state of India's poor must be acknowledged. This it is with respect to India's poverty and how it can be eliminated and what is its current stage. This author Seema Chisti has wrote about this. This is also a beautiful article. You can read this. This is the abject poverty, and if the economy is to be repaired, the number of the poor has to be meticulously counted. Now the next is a time to give. The families who lost breadwinners in COVID-19 need support, policies and safety nets. So this is in line with the with article on the first page, which talked about the ex gratia payment to the families of the person who died during the COVID-19 pandemic. The next article is with Raisi in the saddle, the road ahead of Iran. This is with respect to Iran and US are in talks of this nuclear deal. Like it was US has withdrawn from the JCPOA, and that is Iran nuclear deal. But now after the election of Joe Biden administration, there is a talks of reviving this in Iran nuclear deal. So this is with respect to that topic, and you can read this article also for the follow up of international relations. Now there is another article, this perpetual war. So in this perpetual war article, US have backed Afghan government. Like it is, author is saying that instead of showing the desperation to talk with the Taliban government, US should have engaged more with the Afghan civilian government, right? So this is with respect to this Afghan, and as you must be knowing that how eagerly US is working is engaging in talks with Taliban to exit from the Afghanistan. So this is a follow up article with in that regard. So you can look into this. The next article is India's vaccine policy needs clarity, and in seeking to pursue conflicting objective, the policy architecture is complex and difficult to implement. So it is with respect to vaccination and how we can smoothen the process of vaccination in India. And the next article is towards a more federal structure. If a state directly collect more tax, they will become less dependent on the central government. So here author is in a view to enable states to collect the taxes on their own. Like as of now, what happens is there are certain lists in the state list and the central list. In the state list, on the matters which are there in the state list, the state is empowered to collect tax, and on the matters which are there in the central list, center is empowered to collect tax. But there is another section of which was added, that is the GST, on which both state and center has the right to collect tax. But the main in the GST, center collects the tax and pays to the states, right? So like there are two components of taxes, the CGST, three components basically: CGST, SGST and IGST. On the CGST, the component of CGST is collected by the central government, and SGST goes to the state government, and the IGST also goes to the central government, and the CGST and IGST later on goes to the states after the devolution by the finance commission, right? So this is the chain. And with respect to GST and with respect to income tax, that is other direct taxes are collected by the central government, and it is collected in the consolidated fund of India, and from this fund it is devolved to the various state governments after the on the basis of recommendation of finance commission, right? So author talks about that how if a state gets the right to collect taxes on some more items, and in that case the federal, as per the author, this Shastriji, he is saying that as a state will get more right to collect taxes, they will be less dependent on the center, and this will like a kind of boost the federal structure of country. So you can read this is also a good article, it will give you some more insight. A case of decriminalized suicide. So as of now India has section 309 in its Indian penal code, and which says that criminalization of if somebody is attempting to suicide, that person will be booked under section 309 of IPC. So you can read, the author is saying that this is a time we should repeal the section 309 from the IPC, as India is, as per a report of World Health Organization, India has the highest suicide rate in the Southeast Asian region. So instead of taking care of the people who is attempting suicide, the law says for punishment. So this is some kind of this decision sounds good. So in this respect the author is suggesting for removal of 309 section. Okay, so 3 LAT militant gunned down. This 3 Lashkar-e-Taiba militants has been gunned down. This is the news from Jammu and Kashmir. And army to get indigenous light utility helicopters in December 2022. So the army, which is facing a huge shortage of light utility helicopters, will get three. How much was there? It was 6. Yeah, 6 indigenous light utility helicopters. Government, the forces will get by end of 2022, and it will be manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. So this is another news. Now let's move on to another news. Yoga ray of hope amid COVID. Like on the 21st June, the International Yoga Day is celebrated, and this year's International Yoga Day is the 7th International Yoga Day, where M Yoga app was launched by Prime Minister, and the PM says that yoga has become a source of inner strength and a source of hope among this the crisis times of pandemic. So, and he also gave a slogan of one world one health motto, and yoga works in that regard. And you can see this picture that on the banks of Pangong Solok in Ladakh, our soldiers of ITBP are practicing yoga on the eve of International Yoga Day. And another news is with respect to police sent another notice on Twitter. Like you must be knowing that Twitter has denied to accept this new privacy policy of central government, and which Twitter says that recently Twitter has said that Twitter accepts the laws made by the government, but it has some own rules and regulations, and it will not succumb to the pressure by government. So what government has done is government has withdrawn the intermediary status of Twitter. So what will happen if the government withdraws the intermediary status? So if the government withdraws the intermediary status, what will happen is the Twitter will be accountable for whatever the post is being posted, whatever the video or comment being posted on Twitter. And if intermediary status is given to Twitter, that means that Twitter will not be responsible for whatever the videos or comments are being posted on Twitter or any other website per se. So in this regard, as government has withdrawn the intermediary status of Twitter has like police had sent another notice to Twitter and registering an FIR for sharing video of UP assault, right? So this is a news with respect to that. Then another news is Delhi High Court reserves order on WhatsApp Facebook plea. So WhatsApp, like Competition Commission of India has given a notice to the WhatsApp and Facebook with respect to its new policy of with respect to its new privacy policy. So in this regard, CCI has asked WhatsApp and Facebook to submit some document, so that CCI can investigate the matter and look after whether the new WhatsApp new privacy policy is appropriate or not. So this is the news which was there. So Facebook and Facebook and WhatsApp has gone into the Delhi High Court in seeking for a stay on this particular order of CCI, and has High Court has uh, like state this notice of CCI. So in this regard, let's read about CCI, Competition Commission of India. Let's read some about Competition Commission of India. First, before reading the Competition Commission of India, let's read the vacation bench. As this vacation bench has stayed this order of the CCI. So what does a vacation bench actually mean? The vacation bench mean, right? So vacation bench of Supreme Court is a special bench constituted by the Chief Justice of India. The court actually that what happens is the court takes the two long vacations each year, the summer vacation and the winter breaks, but it is technically not fully closed during these periods. So basically court is closed, but on some important matters court opens up and decides on some important issues, right? So now let's read about the Competition Commission of India. So Competition Commission of India is a statutory body. Okay, so it's a statutory body, and it was established under the Competition Act 2002, and it is composed of one chairperson and 6 members, all these members are appointed by central government, and it is a quasi judicial body, and it was made on the recommendation of Raghavan committee, right? It was made on the recommendation of Raghavan committee, and this act prohibits the anti-competitive agreements. Okay, so what is the purpose of this act, or what is the purpose of this commission, this organization, Competition Commission of India? The purpose is to prohibit the anti-competitive agreement, to prohibit the abuse of dominant position by enterprises, and regulates dominant position by the enterprises. Like some enterprises does not abuse its dominant position, like in the field of social media, WhatsApp and Facebook has the dominant position. That's why CCI want to look whether this new privacy policy is abuse of dominant position by WhatsApp or not. And the another objective of CCI is to regulate the combinations, that is acquisitions, mergers and acquisitions, or acquiring control, which causes or likely to cause an appreciable, this is the term, that is appreciable adverse effect on the competition within India, right? So this is the purpose, or purpose of Competition Commission of India, which is there. So now let's move on to another article. The CDS to chair the CDS to chair meet on theater command. So what is this theater command? This theater command is the tri-service command. Like in a single command, the facilities of all the three services, the facilities and personals of all the three services, that is Indian Air Force, Indian Navy and Army, will be there, and it will be an integrated service command. So in this regard, there is a meeting of the Chief of Defence Staff along with all other stakeholders, and which will talk about the formation of a theater command, right? So it is a broad plan to create a 4 integrated tri-service command on an official said on Monday. So air defense and maritime. So what are the theater command which is being planned? So it is a air defense command, the maritime theater command, the integrated eastern theater and integrated western theater command are being planned, the official said. So basically there are three commands, which are the 4 integrated commands which are proposed. This air defense command, the maritime integrated command, and the integrated eastern theater command in order to protect the eastern borders, and integrated western theater command in order to protect the western borders. Okay, so the CDS, the chief of defense staff, General Bipin Rawat, will take the meeting, and meeting is scheduled to be held on Tuesday. And after studying Indian and Western models of war fighting for over 2 years, tabletop exercises and war games were conducted, and operational discussions were held to come up with the best model suited for us. So here we have learned one term, that is tabletop exercise. So what does tabletop exercise mean? Let's use this opportunity to explain the different type of exercises, right? So there are different type of exercises that can be used to evaluate a program, plan or procedure. So one second, let me enlarge this. So yeah, so different type of exercise that can be used to evaluate the program, plan, procedure, capabilities. So the first one is walkthroughs or workshops or orientation or seminars, and the second is tabletop exercise, third is functional exercise, and four is a full scale exercise. In the walkthroughs or workshop or orientation seminar, what happens is the soldiers are given the basic training for team members and designed to familiarize with the emergency response. The purpose is to familiarize the personals with the emergency response. In the tabletop exercises are discussions based sessions where team members meet in an informal classroom setting to discuss their roles during emergency and their response to a particular emergency situation. So what happens is, in basically tabletop exercises, like all the stakeholders meet in a meeting room, and they discuss all other like various options, and what can be done in a particular situation and what can be done in another particular situation. So it is a classroom discussion based, it is a discussion based, basically it's a discussion based exercise. Another exercise is functional exercise. It allows personnel to validate plans and readiness by performing their duties in a simulated operational environment. That is it is a scenario driven exercise. Like people will be put in a particular scenario and will be asked that what kind of actions you will do, and what kind of action should be taken in this particular scenario. Now the fourth exercise is a full scale exercise. It is close to the real thing as possible, like it's a real exercise when forces are fighting on the ground, or drill is being undertaken on the ground. So yeah, so these are the four kind of exercises: walkthrough, tabletop, functional and full scale exercise. So this was all about this news. Now let's move on to the another article. This says Jammu and Kashmir parties seek durable steps. Like yesterday's government of India has come up with a plan to converse with the various political parties in the Jammu and Kashmir, and to start a dialogue between the between Delhi and Jammu and Kashmir, right? So in this regard, this is an article, and here is a mention of an alliance that is called Gupkar Alliance. We'll read about this Gupkar Alliance. What does it mean exactly? So this Gupkar Alliance is the People's Alliance for Gupkar Declaration. It is an electoral alliance between the several regional political parties in Jammu and Kashmir, reportedly aimed at restoring a special status. What is the purpose of this alliance? To restoring the special status along with Article 35A of the erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir state. Farooq Abdullah is the president of alliance. Okay, so basically this alliance is formed. Like everyone knows that in 2019 the government of India withdraws the special status of Jammu and Kashmir and divided the state into the two parts, the UT of Ladakh and the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So in order to restore the earlier status of Jammu and Kashmir as a special status, the Gupkar Declaration was signed between among all the signed between all the opposition political parties of Jammu and Kashmir, and the purpose is to restore the special status along with Article 35A in the Jammu and Kashmir. So why this name Gupkar? Because the Gupkar is a place. It is a place in Jammu and Kashmir where the residence of Raja Hari Singh was situated. So this is a symbolic alliance that Raja Hari Singh. This is a symbol. The name symbolizes that Raja Hari Singh, has given the special status to Jammu and Kashmir, and government of India should not withdraw it. So that's why this Gupkar alliance is there in Jammu and Kashmir. This is very much in news these days, and there is a meeting to be held on June 24. Okay, so next is the news about NHRC panel to probe violence in West Bengal. The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC. NHRC is a statutory body in India which which the takes into account all the violations of human right with respect to human right. So let's read a bit about NHRC. The National Human Rights Commission is a statutory body established on 12th October 1993 as per the provisions of Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, later amended in 2006. Its headquarters is there in New Delhi, and it is a watchdog of human rights in the country. It was established in conformity with the Paris Principle. This is very important, that NHRC was constituted in the conformity with the Paris Principle, and adopted for the promotion. The Paris Principle was adopted for the promotion and protection of human rights in Paris, right? So it was also endorsed by UNGA, General Assembly of United Nations, in 1993. So NHRC consists of a chairperson and 7 other members. So how many total members are there? There are 8 members in NHRC. Out of 7 members, there is an ex officio member appointed by the president on recommendation of the committee chaired by the prime minister. So this NHRC is going to review the violence in West Bengal. Now let's move on to another news. The corpus did not add to Ganga pollution. This is also, I would say, a funny news. The center has said that corpuses does not pollute the Ganga. Okay, fine. I'll not comment about this. The PF Trust awaits clarity in advance. So we'll see one small thing that about PF. About 76 lakh COVID-19 advances claims worth 18,698 crore was declared since March 2020. So basically, around 18,700 crores was advance claims was placed on the EPFO site. EPF members were, so what is the maximum permissible limit of withdrawal by the EPFO member? So members were permitted to make non-refundable withdrawal to the extent of basic wages and dearness allowance for 3 months up to 75% of their EPF balance. So how much is permissible? So they can withdraw to the 3 months of basic wages and dearness allowance, or 75% of their total EPF balance, whichever is lower. So this is a limit which I had to tell you guys. The next is Armenian PM wins majority in poll. So there is a few things which we need to learn. So there was a election in Armenia and Azerbaijan, which was very much in news these days due to a war which was broke out in the Nagorno-Karabakh region, in which this Armenia has seceded its territory to Azerbaijan. So this new prime minister has been elected, this Nikol Pashinyan. Actually, he is the existing prime minister being re-elected. Okay, so in this regard, we will read about 2 things. I'll read this highlighted portion which I have highlighted. The ethnic Armenian forces ceded territory to Azerbaijan in and around Nagorno-Karabakh in 6 weeks of fighting last year. The hostilities caused international concern. Why? Because of the wider South Caucasus region is a corridor for pipeline carrying natural oil and gas to the world market. So this region contains the pipeline which carries the natural oil and gas to the world market, and it is also a geopolitical arena for Russia, USA and European Union and Turkey. So all these 4 countries were very much active during the period of this war. So all these 4 countries were in a kind of race of like putting or jostling its influence in this region. So this prime minister has said that he was forced to sign this agreement to secede the territory to Azerbaijan. He has said this, Nikol has said this, and he will work with the organizations, that is CSTO and EAU, that is Collective Security Treaty Organization, and Eurasian Economic Union, for the prosperity of the region. So we will use this opportunity to read about this Collective Security Treaty Organization and Eurasian Economic Union. So this CSTO, what is this CSTO? So this CSTO is an intergovernmental military alliance that was signed in 1992, and its members are Russia, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Belarus, and Georgia. So all these are the former Soviet Union countries who had formed an military alliance, and it is also known as Tashkent Treaty or Tashkent Pact. So this was about Collective Security Treaty Organization. There is another organization which is Eurasian Economic Union. It is a economic union of Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Belarus, and Armenia. These five countries are the members of this Eurasian Economic Union. So this was the news on this page. Now let's move on to another page. The US is committed to supporting Afghan people. White House. Again, this is with respect to US withdrawing the Afghanistan and giving a kind of hope to the Afghan people, like Afghan civilian government, that US will be always with Afghanistan in order to protect the Afghan people. But every world knows that US is in very much hurry to withdraw from the Afghanistan and leaving the people of Afghanistan behind. So now in another news, need to support households SMEs on brink. So like this article talks about that how government should give more support to the households or small medium enterprises, in order to like revive their growth, because COVID-19 has hit hard to this household, to small household and SMEs, and in this regard government should provide some more relief. So in this regard, the FCRA norms should be relaxed, so that these MSMEs can receive more funds from the outside, and expanding GST relief on COVID-19 imports, like import duty should be reduced on the GST relief goods. So all these things are there which government should do. And in this regard also there is another suggestion that government should extend the ECLGS validity. So we'll read about ECLGS. What is Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme? So this Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme was launched as part of the Government of India's Atmanirbhar Abhiyan package, and it was aimed to provide credit to different sectors, especially MSMEs. Right, so this scheme was for providing the credit to the different sectors. The especially MSME sector was in focus. So as per this scheme, 100% guarantee coverage is being provided by National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company, whereas banks and NBFCs provide loans. So all those banks and NBFCs who are providing loans to these MSMEs or the specified sectors, government will give 100% guarantee. Like in case this money is not able, like this NBFCs and banks are not able to recover the money from the people, the government through its wholly owned subsidiary company, this National Credit Guarantee Trust Company, will provide the funds to the banks or NBFCs. So so author is suggesting that government should extend this ECLGS scheme to other sectors, and the validity period of this should also extend. Now next news is Maruti to raise prices in Q2 as the cost increases. Okay, so Bharti Tata partner for 5G network solutions. Okay, fine. So windfall treasury gains cited to public sector bank profit in financial 21. ICRA is a credit rating agency. Like what is credit rating agencies? These are the independent agencies which based on various parameters decides the debt repaying capability of any particular bank, or any particular bank or any other organization like company, etc. So ICRA is one of the credit rating agencies. So it has said that the public sector bank profits has rose in financial 21, and also the share prices of all these public sector banks has rose, and it is because of rate cuts and liquidity. Like banks were allowed to raise the liquidity in the market, and all these things has related to huge like profit in the bond portfolios. Okay, so we'll not explain this in detail because the video is already taking too much time. So this will read this, that 12 public sector bank reported a profit in financial year 21 after 5 consecutive year losses. So now, so this was end of the this section. I know it's a very like a little bit lengthy video. Thank you. We'll try to keep it short from now on. Thank you very much.